Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Prime Premier League podcast London show. Tonight we have two special guests. Our main man, Matty, is in the house watching Carrier Bag. How is it, Matt?
Listen, you only wish you could play teams like that this year, mate.
And somehow Doc has found an Arsenal fan that actually talks some sense. I don't know how he's done it, but he's done it. Wes, welcome to the show, pal.
Yeah, mate.
Let's start off at the Etihad last Sunday. Arsenal travelled up there. Game had a big two in the Premier League in recent years. Wes, we'll start with you, mate, on this. Obviously, you support Arsenal. What did you make of the game and obviously the sending off and how Arsenal played?
Mate, I thought the game, as a neutral watching it, I thought the game was brilliant first half. And it was ruined by a silly sending off. I agree with the sending off. I've had discussions with Doc this week and last week about it. I agree with the sending off. But I think it's mad. This whole delay in the restart and stuff, getting second yellows, when you've got people like Martinez doing them two-footed lunges and not getting yellow cards, I think the yellow cards are soft. And it ruined, for, like I say, the neutrals, it ruined what was going to be a really good game of football that we all wanted to see. You know, we want to see these two teams go toe-to-toe now. And I think we were first half, mate. We really were. I think the first 15, 20 minutes, we couldn't get anywhere near them, mate. They looked like they went up 2 gears, and we couldn't get anywhere near them. And then, you know, we get our goal, the equaliser, and then we get the second goal. And I think it was a good game. And then you come out second half, mate, and it is just backs against the walls. Get out with there, whatever you can, in my opinion, mate.
Just a quick one. Like, I felt that Arteta got his tactics wrong at half time, and I said this to Doc the other day, in the fact that he took Saka off. Now, I think Saka, he's direct, he'll run at defenders, he can get you up the pitch. Where Havertz, Doc pointed out the other day that Havertz didn't even make a pass in the game, a pass completion in the game. Do you think had he left Saka on and you had that different outlet that could have got Arsenal up the pitch, it would have been a different outcome? Or
I think he had no intentions of getting up the pitch, to be honest. I think he backs our defence because we have got the best defence in the league. And I think he backed our defence to get out there with 3 points, worst case, a point. What Havertz gives you is aerial ability from the corners, which we knew there was going to get lots of, clearances, duels, and stuff like that. I mean, you can look at his stats that he didn't make a pass. Go and look at how many interceptions he made, how many tackles and blocks he made, headers he won. Saka doesn't give you that. You could have said, let's take off Martinelli instead of Saka. Martinelli defensively is so much better than Saka. So much better. And I think between Havertz and Saka, Havertz and Martinelli, they defended so well. So well. So I think it was the right thing to take off Saka, to be honest, mate. I do.
Evening, Ash, how are you? I think Arsenal's worst part of the game is their lack of creativity in the last few games. Spurs away and City away, defensively rock solid. Talking about creativity, do you think Arteta's been a bit negative in the last couple, or do you think that's just how he is?
I think it's certainly not how he is, because you've only got to look at last season. Scored 91 goals, you know, hit teams for 4, 5, 6 goals regularly, mate. Last season.
I know all about the 6-0.
I think what you do need to do, you need to, which a lot of football fans don't do. You got to apply context to it. And if you look at the context, we have lost. I know injuries are part of the game. You won't see me moaning about injuries, but you do have to, as a manager. I think he's just adapted. We haven't got Odegaard. We haven't got someone who can do the job as good as him. We've got players who can play in that 10 role. Of course we have, but we haven't got players that can do the job as good as him. So I just see it as we haven't got the players that we should have at the minute, and he's adapting to use our strengths. And I don't see anything wrong in that. Like when has defending, you know, got to be moaned at? Defending's an art. If we was an Italian team playing how we're playing, we'd be getting plaudits everywhere. But it's because we're English press. Our defending's not part of the game. It's mad.
It's true.
Mad, mate.
Doc, over to you. I know you had a few questions on Arsenal that you mentioned earlier, especially one around Ben White. Maybe give Wes a bit of insight into that one.
Yeah, listen, it's not even about a question as such, because obviously for every question that there's going to be a valid answer. But I just think with Arsenal, I just feel like the Arsenal fan base in particular are very, very hypocritical. I think that, all we got told last season was Ben White's the best right back in the league. Ben White should be playing for England. He's better than Walker. He's better than Trent defensively. If Ben White is so good at right back and he's the best right back in the league, then surely you've got to question dropping him for the biggest game that you've got. So that's the first point. And yeah, I understand that if Timber comes in and plays well, that's great. But the whole concept is you drop him before the game. You don't know what Timber's going to do. Timber could have come in and cost you. So the concept is, I think that's a little bit hypocritical if Ben White is as good as you make out. And with regards to the sending off, yeah, the game was ruined by the sending off, but the game was ruined by Trossard, nobody else. It's not the referee's fault. It's no one else's fault. It's Trossard's fault. So again, where's the energy towards your player for making such a schoolboy error and ultimately costing you 2 points 2 weeks after Declan Rice has done the same thing, may I add? That's 4 points that your two players have cost, and yet all I hear about is Doco should have been booked. Well, brilliant. Doco's now got a yellow card and you've lost 4 points. Well done. That's great. Like, where's the energy when you want the praise and you want the props? Where's the energy with a little bit of criticism when certain players make a mistake or certain things don't go your way?
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. With the sending off, no complaints from me. This letter of the law stuff, it's a sending off. I just feel like, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. Do you feel the rule around this needs to be changed? I mean, why are we having games ruined for stupid? I know it's the players that are ruining it, but the rule's there, and I just feel the rule's stupid.
The rule was changed. The rule was changed. It was changed 5 games ago when they turned around and said, "No one's going to get away with it anymore. Stop doing it."
The rule's always been there, but if you think about it, this year there's a higher bar on tackles, isn't there? So they're allowing more nastier as such tackles, stronger tackles, but they're clamping down on something silly as delaying a restart.
Do you know what? I actually spoke to my mate earlier on who supports Arsenal and is actually quite level-headed. So there is more than just one of you. But
more than one. Bloody hell.
He said to me that normally in a game, and it's true what he says, you get your yellow card and then you get like 2 or 3 warnings after that. But this year, that's just gone completely.
You
like,
get
there's
that
no
for
more
fouls,
warnings.
Yeah. You get that for fouls. Like you can make, one bad challenge, you'll get a yellow card. You might make a little pull or another one, you get a warning, then you get another warning.
If I had hair, I would be pulling my hair out. If I had hair right now, I'd be pulling my hair out, used to, and the rest of you. What part of, at the beginning of the season, the league said, you're not going to get away with it anymore. We're not going to let you have 2 or 3 goes at it. Do you not understand?
No, I totally get that. Doc. But what I'm saying is, do you think they've got that wrong by doing that?
No.
You
should never have got away with it in the first place. And the fact that they're clamping down on it is the problem. You've got to learn.
You know how the Premier League works. This won't be like this, will it? For this will be a couple of months and this will be out. Like the stoppage time was, it's flavour of the month right now. It won't continue throughout the whole of the season.
What worries me is we see things like what happened at Arsenal, but as you rightly pointed out, Martinez gets away with. I'm going to call it a lunge. He might have lunged it in.
So much worse. He's a foot away or less than a foot away from breaking someone's leg with that, and he gets nothing. When you've got Trossard who's kicked the ball.
Are you talking about the Man United one?
Yeah. With you guys, was it?
He got booked.
Yeah, but it's a red card, isn't it?
It's a red card, Doc. Like that's.
It's a red card. Listen, I'm not disputing the fact it's a red card, but the whole point is, if you give him nothing, I'd be screaming we wouldn't have windows in the house. They'd be gone, mate. They'd have gone through, like with my screaming. But
I think the most frustrating things is I'm not just saying this because Arsenal player has been sent off, because it's going to happen to a Palace player, it's going to happen to a West Ham, it's going to happen to a Spurs player. These things do; they come round in circles. just think the consistency is so poor. So I mean,
I want to hear my Spurs mate's opinion on this Arsenal topic. That's what I want to hear.
Nah, you know what? Right, look, I go at Arsenal all the time. Like, I could banter with Arsenal. I love it deep down. Like, I don't rattle to it. I just love it, and I'd laugh it off when their people come back to me. But I think Arsenal look the real deal this season. Like, I do. Like, and I do. Potentially, they could win the league. You know, like that. Obviously, I don't want them to win the league, but I'll be the first person to come out and say, "Yeah, well done, cunts." Well, yeah, but so
no, you won't say well done. Not a chance.
I won't. I'll probably go AWOL for it one. But look, going back to the Man City game, I think, yeah, everyone can criticise Arsenal because the way they played. But the thing is, if that's your strongest part of the team, your defensive line, then you have to use that to your advantage. And Arsenal did that. They know not many teams are going to break them down. So you could see Arsenal going back to like George Graham days, going 1-0 up this season and just plotting the park in the bus like that because they know not many teams are going to break them down, you know. And look, when you've got Gabriel and Saliba performing the way they are, it's going to be tough, you know. Going back to the Ben White thing, what you said, Doc, don't you think that's a good thing for Arsenal that they can just take out one of their best fullbacks and put in someone else and trust someone else to do that? They never had that option before, so. Honestly, I do think Arsenal.
Right back or left back, he didn't. Yeah, right back was.
No,
he played so much last year. He played so many games last year because we didn't have someone as good as him. I'll be honest. I fear for Ben White's position though. Timber is that good. Timber is really good.
So the 2 points. So the 2 points here, because first of all, I think you're missing the concept of Ben White's situation. I don't disagree with it. I think Timber is potentially a better right back than Ben White. But I don't buy into the nonsense that Ben White is as good as Arsenal fans have made out in the first place. That's the difference. I think Ben White was fitting in, doing a job. He was never like the real deal. Because if he was the real deal, he'd still have his position right now. And you wouldn't fear for his position.
He is a centre-back. We turned him into a right-back. His main position was centre-back.
Well, there you go then.
I think as in football, you'll know, I think the partnerships are very key to what helps a player look better or is better. His partnership, which we've seen, has not been as good since Ødegaard's there. Our triangle on the right with Ødegaard, Saka and Ben White is key to making all three of them look good. And I think you've seen Ben White struggle a little bit, not having Ødegaard in that triangle. So I think that's a bit of a factor as well. And regards to the England thing, why he wouldn't play for England, I think just his partnership with Saka is a reason why he would play for England as well, because they play with.
And then my second point is: am I missing something here? Are people saying that wasn't a good Arsenal performance?
No, it was.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was very good. The first half was very good.
I know yous lot, but the way you're talking about, like you were saying about, if we was Italian doing the way we was. I've not heard anyone say that wasn't a good performance.
Yeah, I've heard loads of people say it, mate. I've heard loads of rival fans. Rival fans this week or since that game have had the ump because we didn't go at City. I've seen City fans, even their players have come out and said it. Like, they played negative football. They didn't play the way we wanted them to play. Let's have it right. I've seen the stats go up about teams that have gone there and gone down to 10 men. City lost 5-0, United lost 4-0, Spurs lost 3-0, Chelsea lost 4-0, I think. It would be absolute suicide football to go down to 10 men and attack City. But I've seen rival fans this week, criticising Arsenal for not playing expansive football and attacking football. Our job, and Arteta's job, is not to entertain rival fans, unfortunately.
I've got more of an issue.
Anyway we can.
Yeah, but I've got more of an issue of what he done last year when he went to the Etihad more than the issue to what he's done this time. I think this time he's validated the fact that he trusts that team to go toe-to-toe with City. And for me personally, this is the first time I've seen Arteta where he didn't look like he is absolutely scared, like out of his wits of Manchester City. So I won't criticise this performance at all. The only thing I'd criticise about this performance is Trossard's costume, no one else. And it's a schoolboy error 2 games in a row that ultimately, when all said and done this season, if you lose the league by 3 points, your 2 players have cost you that.
So, Whitehead 571. I want to point out that Leeds went there and won 2-1 with 10 men. It can be done, boys. Having faith. So it has been done.
I believe it can be done, but I reckon if you broke it down, the percentage of teams that have gone and done it, I bet it's a lot less than the teams that didn't.
Right, we will come back to Arsenal. Obviously, they did play last night, so we will come back to Arsenal on that. But I just want to move over to our man Matty, who said last week that it was a massive game for Ange and he had to get a win. He got that win. They beat Brentford 3-1. Obviously, went 1-0 down early on. Matty, what did you make of your performance last Saturday, mate?
Yeah, mate, walking in the stadium, I felt confident. And then going 1-0 down in 24 seconds, I nearly got up and went flying back up the stairs. Nah, do you know what? I thought we were solid against Brentford. I know, like, what a goal, by the way, by Brentford. What a goal. But I thought we were good. We looked always in control. Vicario, could have gone. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know what VAR are doing in some of these situations. But he could have been sent off. If it's a yellow card, a red card, that's whoever's argument to have. But I thought James Maddison dropping into that deeper role looked so much better. He was on the ball. He could have had about 4 assists in that game if we had better finishing, you know. But these are not corners or nothing like that. These are in-game assists, you know. Like even Sonny, he walked out of that game with 2 assists. But like, I don't know, I thought we played well, but it's Brentford at home. They just lost Wissa, didn't they, for injury? So you kind of expected us to walk away at 3 points. I know a lot of people was against us, but the amount of opportunities Spurs create, honestly, it's just a matter of time before we start, like what Arsenal done last year, started hitting teams for like 4s and 5s. I honestly believe that we create so many chances. It's just finding that finishing touch in the final third.
You couldn't even hit Coventry for 4 or 5. What are you talking about?
What's that, Doc?
You couldn't even hit Coventry for 4 or 5. What are you talking about?
Well, come on. Look, let's be fair. We made like 8 changes against Coventry, and let's be real, Coventry were absolutely brilliant that day. But the team we put out there...
Dragosin's been sent off.
Has he actually?
Yeah, 10 minutes in.
He might as well go and get his carrier bag.
He fouled the last man.
James Cooper's just put it in the chat as well to validate it as well.
I didn't even know, mate. I know nothing about the game at the minute.
So
I'll catch the second half. But look, I do believe that with Spurs, and I do think that Ange needed that. But the thing is, he was under so much criticism. He gets 3 points, and no one says nothing no more. It's all gone quiet. We could go lose to Man United, and then all the criticisms back. You know, I don't get it, mate. I don't. Look, I don't get it. Listen, I don't get it. I'm not an Ange man. I think he's been there just for 1 year. This is the start of his 2nd year. What are you expecting from Ange, right? I'll tell you what it is. Arsenal are doing so well. Fans are frustrated, and they have to blame someone, and they want success now, and they're not going to get that now. You have to give Ange time, and I think that's what the big problem is that Arsenal are doing so well.
You give him 2 years. He said you give him 2 years. He said it himself.
Right.
He always wins something in his 2nd year.
Yeah, look, he's a big man to take that on. He's come out with that.
Well, there you go.
Massive foul there, isn't he?
And then you get drawn. Then you get drawn against City in the cup.
There you are. That's why
I want to see you go to City and play lovely attacking football. Don't you dare be parking no bus there. I won't have it.
Wes, is that what line for starters?
Yeah, that's true.
But last year we went and played free flowing football with Emerson.
Yeah, you like playing against him, mate. You like playing against him.
Just scored, by the way. I could just do it.
That's what ever played free flowing football.
Royale and Eric Dyer, centre backs, and drew 3-3.
So, Matty, obviously your new £65 million pile of beep, Solanke, got his first tap in. Do you think that boasts confidence for him?
Yeah, listen, no matter who's up front for Spurs right now, I honestly believe the chances we create, our strikers will score goals. I honestly believe that. Spurs love to get to that byline and play it straight back to the 6-yard box. Look, people are judging him, right? He's played against Gabriel and Saliba, probably the best partnership in the world right now, yeah? I thought Solanke actually played okay in that game, but just fed off scraps. Nothing in that game. Coventry, I think the whole team was just a shambles. Yeah. And then, he got his tap in. But do you know what it is with Solanke? I like what he does off the ball. Like, let's say, for instance, Kai Havertz, yeah? People slate Kai Havertz, but what he does for the team off the ball is unbelievable. Mateta, he's not known to be a prolific goal scorer, is he? But he can give centre-backs a horrible time. Antonio P, he only turns up for 2 games a year, mate, and that's Tottenham, and he terrorises us every single year. It's true, though, isn't it? Antonio terrorises us.
Whitehead says he likes Ange. You don't fully believe his team is playing for him, but he's a top manager in his opinion.
I just think there's some big and bold statements going on here. Like, I just think that the trouble is the more people talk the talk, you got to start backing it up and walk the walk. If you're this creative team and you create chances and anyone up top can score goals, Solanke should be scoring 20 goals this year.
I think he will. Not league goals.
So if he don't,
I think he will.
No, not all competitions. He should be able to put 20 up in the Premier League if you're that.
You say that, but we've got Richarlison to come back. You know that I'm just going to rotate.
How many did he put up at Bournemouth?
Competitions?
19.
How many did he put up at Bournemouth?
Was it 19? League?
I don't know. Yeah, but look, with Bournemouth, he played every single minute at Bournemouth. He come to Spurs and in one game got injured. Like, what's all this about? Look, he ain't going to get 20 in the league. I don't think he'll get 20 in the league because that's the tough ask, you know? Like, who's going to hit 20 in the league this year?
I'll be honest with you, I don't think he gets 15 in the league.
Do you think he outscores Havertz in the league, Matty, this year?
It depends. Like, what, in the league?
In the league.
I'm going to say no, because like teams like Leicester are home this weekend. I think you'll beat him about 6-0 and he'll probably score 2 or 3, you know?
I'm gonna tell you this for free. I'm going to tell you this for free right here, right now. This is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? Matty, Wes, yeah? £10 of my own cash says Mateta scores more in the league than Havertz and Solanke.
I'll take that bet. I think Mateta will. I'll take that bet.
You think Mateta will?
Put the red wine down.
No, I like Mateta. I'm thinking Havertz. What did Havertz get last year? Playing bad, apparently. I mean, he was classed the second half of the season. He got 13, did he? Yeah. I can see him getting 15 league goals.
How many's Mateta got now in the league, Doc?
2.
In the league?
2.
Who's he scored against in the league?
He scored 2 in one game.
What against who? Don't tell me Norwich in the Carabao Cup.
No, it weren't. He did. He scored. Who did they beat the other week?
Leicester.
No,
Leicester.
We drew 1-1 with Leicester.
Palace haven't won yet.
No, you 2-2. You scored. Mateta
scored 2-2 against Leicester. You went 2-0 down. You went 2-0 down against Leicester.
It was. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, he scored them both against Leicester, yeah.
All right, well, I'll have a bet because Solanke scored more than Mateta in the league, 100%.
Well, let's take my 10 a bit then.
Well, tenner each. Tenner three-way bet. Tenner. Whoever comes out on tops takes the money.
Correct.
Mateta versus Havertz, Solanke.
Correct.
Hey, you're not
in the league only.
You want to throw in Antonio or what?
No.
League only, though. League only.
That's why. This is why Doc don't remember. It's because it was 2-0 when he was in Wales. He was on the old drink. That's probably why I don't remember.
True fact. But yeah, so league only though. League only. And I'm doing you a favour there because otherwise he'd be on 4.
All right, we'll see then, Doc. We'll see.
That's how confident I am.
All right.
And the reason why I'm that confident, and just for the record, I've got this same bet with some other lads who's got Jackson, Nunes, Højlund for Man United, and I've still backed Mateta to score more than all of them in the league as well.
You better get selling some more cake stock because you're going to be skinny.
Well, we'll see, mate. We'll see.
While we're on the subject of Mateta, let's head over to Doc and Selhurst Park and their board draw of the weekend. Doc, what did you make of your performance, mate? Man United come to town, just won 7-0 at Barnsley, and you thought they'd won the league. What What did you make your performance, mate?
Yeah, 0-0, 1 point. Let's move on. What's the next team we want to talk about?
Don't know, mate.
Listen, you ain't coming in. You got a lot to say about other clubs. You get talking.
No, listen. I'll be real with you, yeah. I'll be 100% real with you. I've still got a lot of positives to take from the game. That being said, I don't want to be taking positives from a 0-0. That's the biggest problem, right? But first off, we were exposed. We were overrun. They were the better team. Henderson had a very, very good game. But collectively, as a football club, Crystal Palace motto hasn't changed in God knows how long. When you're playing against the big teams, you want to stick in there, you want to frustrate them, you want to silence the crowd, and you want them to start needing to be desperate to try and break you down. And that's ultimately what happened. So first half, 100%, Man United dominated the game. Second half, this is the difference between the new Crystal Palace and the old Crystal Palace. We see it at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea done the same thing to us, dominated the first half and had the lead. One sub he made in that game. This time, he made 2 changes. He took Mateta off. He took Walton off. Yeah, 2 players that a lot of people would be like, really? You took Mateta and Walton off? Yes, we did. We took them both off. We put Lerner in the midfield. We put Sarr up top. And the whole complex of the game changed from there on in. And in the second half, we were the better team. We created chances. We just wasn't clinical. Eze had an off day in front of goal that he won't have many of. And overall, a very, very good point for Crystal Palace Football Club.
Doc, obviously you mentioned Walton there. I'm going to come on to the subject of Walton. What's happened with him this year, mate? Because he hasn't hit sort of the levels that we were expecting. Obviously, he hasn't sort of taken off where he finished last year. What's the matter with him? Is he carrying a knock or something, or has he just been poor?
Yeah, I think with Walton, is a youngster learning his trade still, right? So Walton last season, when Walton was signed for Crystal Palace Football Club, Walton was not signed to be a starter for Crystal Palace Football Club right now. He's not there to be the main man that he become last season. Now, what happened with Walton was, due to injuries and desperation, we chucked him in at the deep end, and he done very, very well. And ultimately, the team was flying, the confidence was sky high, everything around the club was buzzing, and he just went along for the roller coaster. And ultimately, he showed everyone what he's capable of. This season, where we've been found out a little bit more because people know what to expect under Glasner, and the team changes their complex against us, it's a different kettle of fish. And ultimately, Walton's being found out a little bit. He's being pulled out of position a little bit, but he hasn't got the support structure there. The back 3 behind him hasn't been as solid. So there's a lot of things there with Walton, but let's be real. Walton hasn't become a bad player overnight. It's just the fact that he's not hit the ground running, but no one at Palace has. Mateta's not hit the ground running. Eze's not hit the ground running. You know, this year, we're in a new transitional period where we've got 5 new starters in our starting 11. So it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, Whitehead says he's been exposed early and played a lot of football. I just think it's a hangover. He'll be back. He's such a tidy footballer. Go on, Matty.
Yeah, Doc. So last season, you finished the season well. You've only kind of lost Anderson and got Elise, didn't you, since the back end of last season. Do you think it was just a new manager bounce? Because you've not started the season. You've not started the season with the. Let's say everyone kind of thought a bit more positive about Crystal Palace this year, but it's kind of like a new manager bounce last season got you that, and you probably were playing teams that was on holiday at the back end of last season as well, weren't you?
This is the thing. This is the thing that I don't like about football. Why do we have to go down that route? You know when he came in February, were they on holiday in February? You know when we went to Anfield and beat Liverpool 1-0, yeah, and ruined their title race, were they on holiday? You know when we went to Old Trafford, you know when we beat Old Trafford when we beat Man United 4-0, were they on holiday? You're talking about one game at the end of the season where we absolutely spanked Villa and would have put you in the Champions League if you'd have done your job. That's the only game that we had where a team was on holiday.
Look, he's rattled and he has to come back at me. Listen, relax yourself up there.
No, it's true facts though, isn't it? What other team did we play other than Villa that was on holiday?
Oh, Doc, you come Spurs and got spanked. You went Arsenal and got spanked.
Right.
So who else did you play? You must have played like Everton or someone like that at the back end of the season. I can't remember.
Compare. Yeah. When you come off live, take 2 minutes, go and compare how many points Ange got at Spurs last year. At the same time, Glasner got points at Crystal Palace Football Club, and then come and talk to me.
You're throwing that at me, knowing that Spurs lost like the last 7 games.
There you go. Point proven.
So
that was his first game in charge. Glasner's come into a team. Like you're just disrespecting what he's done. Like not just you, the whole world.
All I'm saying, this season you haven't started on the heights that you finished. So do you feel like it could have been a new manager bounce and it has kind of just calmed down? You didn't need the season to end.
No, I think that the whole concept is the teams that we played last season has now all played Glasner once, so they know what to expect. Yeah, they was expecting Crystal Palace to rock up and play the Roy Hodgson way, and that was your biggest downfalls. You all thought that Crystal Palace Football Club was Roy Hodgson, and you didn't appreciate that you had Glasner there. So you got found out with your naivety when we come and played your clubs. This season, you now know what to expect. And on top of that, we've had a slight drop-off as well because it's 5 games in. But just for the record, we've just got a point at Stamford Bridge and we've just drawn with Manchester United Football Club. They're not exactly bad results for Crystal Palace, are they?
What's a good season for Palace this year, Doc? Your opinion?
I think personally, at the beginning of the season, I was quite confident that we would be 10th or upwards. Yeah, I generally thought 10th or upwards. I thought that we could potentially have got 8th. I think with how the transfer window went and everything else, not only the players that have gone out, but the players that have come in, I can't see us getting 8th. Like, I'll be real. I don't think we'll get 8th. I don't think we'll even get 9th. But I think if we have a good season, we could potentially get 10th again.
And have you got to have a good cup run? You see it a lot, didn't you? Teams like Fulham and Palace, they don't do well in the cup, so they don't take them quite as serious. They sort of you see them a lot prioritise the league, staying in the league over a decent cup run.
Well, one thing I'll tell you straight away, that's not Glasner. If you look at what we've done in the Carabao Cup, we've played Norwich and we've played
QPR,
and he's put our starting 11 out in both of them.
I think that's good. I think seeing teams like that having a better run's decent.
The flip side to that is we don't have the squads that you boys have got. When we start making changes to our team, yeah, we're not bringing in the caliber of player that you boys are. So we have a problem where we either have to stick or twist. We either play our players in all competitions and then they burn out in the league later on and that costs us, or we have to sacrifice the cups because we're Crystal Palace Football Club. We're not a big club where we haven't got this massive squad. Like when you take out key players in there, you are at the bare bones. Like there's certain players that in our squad that, that really they should be playing for like, I don't know, Charlton. So you have to put it into concept a little bit. We're at a point where things are getting better. Like with the players that we brought in, we've done quite good business. We brought Chalobah in on loan. Obviously, when he's fit, that's a good signing. We've got Riyad, who's out injured. Who's another good signing. We've got Guy at the back, so we've got cover there.
Eddie's cover.
Midfield, we've got Sarr, Lerma. We've lost Doucouré for another 4 months, which is a massive, massive blow. But, when they're all there...
Injured, isn't he?
Sorry?
That geezer's always injured, that Doucouré.
What, Doucouré come back for like 90 minutes and he's out for 4 months?
Yeah, he's had a reoccurrence of the injury that kept him out for the whole of last year.
Okay, now.
Wow.
Would you take like a League Cup, Doc, and a low finish in the league? So not relegation, but like a 16th. Would you take that?
I think that's a good season for Palace, if I'm honest.
So you stay in the league, you comfortably stay in the league, say 16th, but you win a League Cup.
I think realistically, when you ask the question to a Palace fan, I think you'd have to say yes, because ultimately the be all and end all is
If you ask that
objection
to
one.
Matty, he'd say yes.
Sorry?
If you'd ask that to a Spurs fan like Matty, he'd say yes.
No, you know what? I heard that on Talk Sport earlier, mate. I heard that with Goldstein.
I heard that. That's what I heard. That I heard the same thing. And you had Spurs fans on there saying he would take 17th and an FA Cup. One of them said.
See, I wouldn't. And the only reason why is because I feel like your league position, like Man United last year, they finished 8th, I think it was, but won the FA Cup. Anyone can win like the cup final, but your true reflection is where you finished in the league. You know?
We touched on this a little bit in your chat earlier on TikTok, didn't we, Doc?
Yeah.
You was talking about it, and I said
the trouble is when you're asking me, I think the answer is yes. I think Crystal Palace fans can say yes quite openly, because ultimately, you know, it's a trophy in the cabinet. We're still, like you said, we're still in the league, and then we live to fight another day, and then hopefully we get the position right next year. I think the only difference is, I think Matty in the bottom box, I think he should be saying yes as well. Your club don't win trophies. All this, anyone can win a cup final. Not Spurs can't, because you don't.
I'll be honest, I was over the moon when we finished like 15th and we won that Europa League, that Europa Conference League. I was buzzing. Thought, what a season we've had. And we were terrible.
I get that. But I also still want to finish high up in the league, you know?
Yeah, but Matty, if it comes at an expense of the trophy,
the whole point is the question isn't you get your cake and eat it. The question is, you finish high in the league and you end up with no trophies yet again, and we all mock you for another year of your Tottenham, you don't win anything. Or ultimately, you drop down a few positions, but you write a record and you win a trophy.
So if Spurs do win something, do Spurs get that Spursy title taken away from us?
I think they would. You'd still get the Arsenal fans mocking it. Oh yeah, but you're so many trophies behind us. You haven't won the Prem. You'd still get that until the day you take over us, which is going to be never. But you would. I think you would get that Spursy. You've won something. The main thing that people say about Tottenham is you haven't won anything. That's the.
Well, put it this way, Matty. Put it this way, Matty Kerr. If you win the FA Cup this year, yeah, which is never going to happen, by the way. But if you do win the FA Cup this year, yeah, you can turn around and say your football club has been as successful as Wes's football club under Arteta.
In the last 5
years. What is
though?
FA Cup's a bit hard to win. I think if I'm honest, I think we've got a good chance in Europa League this year. I do.
There's still some big teams in that, though, mate.
No, there is, but I do think we've got a very good chance in that.
Whitehead says, I think Spurs need a trophy. I honestly believe Spurs will win a trophy next before Arsenal.
That's a big shout.
That's a massive
shout. That is a big shout, because I see Arsenal winning the trophy in May.
See, I don't. See, this is the thing. I think the difference between Arsenal and Spurs is I think Spurs could potentially win one of 3 trophies. Arsenal can only win one of 2 trophies. That's the difference.
Well, hopefully we make the Carabao Cup final in February then.
Why did you say Spurs 1 of 3 and Arsenal 1 of 2, Doc?
Because you're in 4 competitions. Can't see you winning the Champions League. You've never done it before. And I can't see you beating City to the title, because City's City, and we all know what City's all about. And I'm not saying that you're not the next best thing. I'm not saying that you're not capable of winning it. I just think, realistically speaking, City are too strong. And I think that's the be-all and end-all. I think City are too strong, regardless of what Arsenal do. I think the one thing I would say is, this year, you've got a very good chance of winning it, because of the fact that Rodri's out strengthens your case. Now, I know we spoke about it earlier where you said, I would rather win with Rodri in the team, because obviously people are going to say, yeah, well, you only won it over Rodri. But you can't help the cards that have been dealt to you. So Rodri being out, especially when Odegaard's out anyway, you could counteract that argument with we've won it without Odegaard. But the bottom line is, if you don't win it this year, there's no excuse.
How do you boys feel about that? Do you think it's going to have a big effect, Rodri being out?
Well, I did. And then I heard today that Man City are going to be signing that Bayern Munich holding midfielder. He's kind of dropped out the team this year. He played last year a lot.
Goretzka.
That's it, yeah. So Man City are looking to get him in January. So that there's an ideal replacement, isn't it, for Rodri?
And that is the problem when you're someone like City and you can go and buy the best in the world. They've only got to tick over till January, ain't they? And then they can go and get them. That's all they've got to do.
Yeah,
do you know what makes matters worse? Do you know, Matt? You know what makes matters worse? You know when they tick over in January and they buy him. You know next year they're even stronger than they were this year.
I said to Doc in the week that City will just go out and buy someone in January, someone like a Bruno Guimaraes or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? And just, I think Rodri's irreplaceable. I don't think you can replace him.
Exactly. Whoever they buy is never going to be a Rodri. Yeah. So they're going to be weaker, but they can bridge the gap a little bit, can't they?
Yeah. Just going on last night.
Forget who they buy in. Forget who they buy in January. Take that to one side. Yeah, forget that. Surely, if football fans want to be consistent with their conversations, and if they want to be consistent with, take Rodri out, City away, City should not be top come Christmas, should they? Before January, City top, should
actually, look, we talk about this. You're talking KDB and Rodri are both out at the moment. Like, that's massive, two star players there, like two world-class players that are out injured at the moment for Man City.
Exactly.
Nice.
So if they're top,
it's terrible. They've got Gundogan and Bernardo to come in. How are they going to cope?
I know.
Well, that's the whole concept, isn't it? You can't have it both ways. You can't keep talking about the reason why City is because they got Rodri and they got De Bruyne. But then you take them both out. If they're still top at Christmas, you've got to accept that you're either a hypocrite or you've got to accept that they've got a little bit more about them than what you've given them props for.
I mean, we had it with the whole Saliba thing, didn't we? Not last year before. We didn't win the league. Some fans, we didn't win the league because Saliba was injured. I mean, you went on the next season and you did show how important he actually really is to this team, and you're seeing it now. So, yeah, I can see the argument of what you're saying.
So, boys, obviously there's only one team that London that won this weekend. So, you still scraped the draw. Pete, tell us how you got on, mate.
We got spanked, mate. We got an hiding. We were absolutely atrocious.
What's going on with West Ham at the minute, P? What's your thoughts on it?
My honest thoughts, Wes, is that we've brought in too many players and they just haven't gelled yet. I think we brought in 10 players over the summer, spent 140 million and they just ain't gelled. Defensively, we look hopeless. He's already come out and slated that Todibo not being strong enough for the league. Didn't look great last night, to be honest with you. He looked quite weak. And I just think it's a matter of time before they gel, he doesn't know his best 11. He's swapped and changed at every game. I thought last night was our best performance of the season and we got spanked 5-1. Do you know what I mean? We beat Palace 2-0 this year and we drew at Fulham. But I thought last night was our best performance collectively for all season. And we got spanked.
But when I look at it, P, when you look at the games, I'm talking Premier League, you can take last night into it as well, really, when you look at the team you're playing. The teams you've lost to in the league, was it Chelsea, City, Villa? There's no shame in losing to them three teams.
No, there's not.
I mean, I would go as far to say, are you probably expected on paper to lose to them teams?
On paper, yeah, probably. But I feel that we should have... It's more about the performances than the results for me at the minute. Yeah, you're right. We not on paper, we don't expect to win any of them. But Chelsea at the moment at West Ham, we should be given a game and a bit like what Doc said, getting a point. Do you know what I mean? Like Palace have just gone to Stamford Bridge and got a point. Palace on paper their squad ain't as good or as in depth as West Ham's. Do you know what I mean? And it's no disrespect to Palace. They haven't gone out and spent 140 million. Do you know what I mean? They've done their business quite shrewdly, but we've gone out and signed Somerville, 25, Fulkrug, who's injured. Todibo, alone with 40 million. We've gone out and bought some real, class players. Not world class, but good players. Do you know what I mean? And they're just not playing, and I think we could have given a game. City, there's no shame in. City have bashed everyone up so far, haven't they, other than Arsenal on Sunday. Villa, I thought we give a good game to, just add defensive mistakes, let them in, and they took that. But I tell you what, Saturday's a big game. We're away at Brentford Saturday, and that's a big game for him.
But you
We've
played
got
well
Brentford
yesterday, Pete.
at home.
But you played
Well,
well yesterday against Liverpool. That weren't a 5-1 scoreline. You played well.
No, and I said it today. I said it today in Doc's Live. Like for 75 minutes, I thought we went toe to toe with Liverpool, and we made 8 changes. Do you know what I mean? The red card cost us. I thought we was in the game right up until the 75 minute, but the red card cost us. We was never going to get back into it once we went down to 10 minutes.
The league. Listen, I totally get it, yeah. But the trouble is if your only good performance is in the cup against a team that is weakened against you, there's an issue there. Your league's your bread and butter, and in the league, your performances so far this season, you know, as much as I agree with Wes with regards to you say on paper, I say in reality. Reality-wise, Villa should be beating you because look where they are right now and look how much they're flying. Chelsea should still be beating you, and so should who was the third one?
City.
No, City.
Yeah.
City. So there's no shame in the losses that you've had, but the concept for me is the bigger picture of all this money and all this talk of Moyes' style of play and everything else. I think that the biggest issue here is you've shown no identity whatsoever under this manager yet. And it's early days, but when will the penny drop? Like, when will you see an identity there? And this is the thing. Under Moyes, you didn't like the way you played, but you had an identity. Everyone knew what you was going to get when you went up against West Ham and David Moyes.
There is an identity there, the way he wants to play, and you can see the way he wants to play. He wants to be possession-based and attacking, and going forward against all them sides, we've looked quite good, and we look dangerous going forward. But defensively, we look a shambles. As I said on Saturday, I said to like my dad and that, we will beat Ipswich 3-4-5-0, playing like we do. But when we play Arsenal, Spurs, Man United, the bigger sides, we get thumped because we just ain't good enough at the back. I don't mean to be rude. We've got Mavropanos at the back. Couldn't get in the Arsenal squad when it was at its worst. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, he's playing at West Ham, and we're relying on him. Come on, man. Got Todibo.
Your first choice.
Just don't make sense. None of it makes sense. But I don't want to see him lose his job. But I do think he ain't got long if things don't turn quickly. I am a believer. Well, the ball ain't. They've only spent over 100 million once. That was Pellegrini. They didn't give him no time, and I think it'll be the same again.
What's your realistic expectations then with West Ham this year? What's your expectations with West Ham this year then?
Now?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Top 10? Top 10? Staying up. Yeah. Top 10? I still think we can finish, and I don't mean top 10 as in 8, 7, 6. Like, that'd be beautiful if we could, but I'm talking 9th or 10th. It's going to be low half of the top half.
Was Lopetegui West Ham's first choice manager? Target?
By all accounts, he was the third choice.
Who else was you linked with?
Potter was on the list, weren't he? And some, is it the Sporting CP manager? He flew in and then went to Chelsea and spoke to them.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name, but
the young Portuguese manager, isn't it?
Yeah. So he was third choice, and I just don't think they're going to give him much time, if I'm honest.
You got Brentford, Brentford and Ipswich in the next two.
Yeah, Brentford and Ipswich, mate. Yeah, and then we've got international break, and then we come to we come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then
that'll work in your favour though. Straight after international week, then you play us. Like, no one wants that international break.
No.
Easy 3 points.
Boys, I'm just looking at the clock a little bit, and I'm a little bit cautious here. While we're talking about West Ham for a minute, let's just pause on West Ham. Let's take a minute, as it's a London show, to talk about Chelsea. We've obviously covered West Ham in the game. Let's talk about Chelsea so far this season. I'm very intrigued to hear your 3 takes on their new manager and what they're doing down at Stamford Bridge. Matty, I'll start with you.
I think they've been looking all right, but have they really been tested? They played Man City, got beat. Have they really been tested other than that? I don't know. They've got a hell of a squad, haven't they? Well, we all know they've got an absolute squad of players, but time will tell, you know. Like, it's all right going to beat Bournemouth. They got lucky against Bournemouth. They could have easily lost that game 4-0. It's no one knows yet with Chelsea because in the next 5 games they could be from up there to like 11th, 12th. No one knows. Let's just see when they get the bigger games, when they start getting bigger teams to play.
Yeah, I was impressed with Chelsea at West Ham. To be fair, I was, but I fear for them when they play the bigger boys. As Matty said, they've got a massive squad. You see that on Tuesday night when they played Barrow. He changed all 11 players and they still won 5-0. And I know people say, "Oh, they're only playing Barrow," but you still got to put your chances away. And I'm hearing things like Chelsea are back and all that, and I don't know if it's people winding me up or whether I actually believe it. But for me, you got to judge Chelsea when they play Arsenal's, Man City's, your Liverpool's, and then we'll see where they're at as a club and what they're going to offer. But at the moment, yeah, they're all right, but they're not.
I agree with what the boys have said, mate. I think on their day, they can beat a lot of teams. On their day, they can lose to Bournemouth or Ipswich, I think. I think they're a bit of a mess as a club as a whole, to be fair, and everything that's going on there. But yeah, like I say, on their day they can beat people. On their day they can lose. You don't know where you stand with them, do you? In my opinion.
I think all three of you are being a little bit harsh, to be honest. I think the fact is you're saying wait till they play the big boys. Well, they've already played Man City, and ultimately, 75 minutes into the game, it was 1-0, and I think that was a very good Chelsea performance. No, they didn't win the game, and no, that they was never going to win the game, but with a manager playing against City, I think he held his own, and I think that they've done all right. I generally do think that that's the best performance they've had this year, even more so than when they went and beat Wolves. So I think that if he has that concept, and if he puts that performance in like he did against City, against Arsenal's, Liverpool's, I think he's competitive.
I think they've done what they've expected to do. They've lost to the team they're expected to lose to. They've beat the teams they've expected to beat. I think they was poor against the Bournemouth team, like Matty said, against Bournemouth. They could have quite easily lost that game.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But then,
I just think it's like what I said. I think you don't know what Chelsea team is going to turn up against you. They could come and I think they will blow teams away this year. But likewise, they will drop points to Bournemouth or Nottingham Forest.
But that's what I mean by about like I don't buy into this. Let's see what they do against the big boys, because Chelsea Football Club is the sort of club that will get up for that game. They're the sort of club that would go and beat Arsenal and then go and lose to Fulham the week after.
Personally, use someone else in that example, not Arsenal. They don't beat us.
But let's see where they are. Let's see where they are 10 games in.
Listen,
we'll see where they are.
As long as they keep sending us absolute gems, I'm happy. Send us more Havertz, send us more Sterlings. I'm over the moon. Jorginho's. We'll take them all off your hands.
I think
that's a weird one, isn't it?
Send Mudryk our way. We'll look after him.
I think they get beat Saturday at home to Brighton. I think Brighton beat them Saturday.
Tough game, Brighton.
Nah.
So guys, just to wrap up the show, obviously we've all got games this weekend. Doc, score prediction for your Palace game. Who you got?
Well, we got a slight problem, we have, because we've got our last ever visit to Goodison Park. And obviously at Goodison Park, they're our bogey team. They always seem to do a job on us, and they've beat us quite a lot over the last few years. So if you're talking paper-wise, I'd be confident. But this is the sort of game that as much as we need a win, so do they. So I'm not confident that we're going to get a win against them because it's Everton. So I think realistically, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it's a draw. But I still think that we're capable of winning it. But then I also think that they're capable of winning it. So it's a tricky one for me.
Doc's proper sat on the fence with that one, isn't he? Matt,
all right. I'll get off the fence. I think we win 2-1.
Yeah. Matty, you travel up to Old Trafford on Sunday.
We don't travel well up to Old Trafford, though, do we? Like, I think the only time we've done well up there was during COVID, where we spanked them in that freak season. I think we did like 6-1 or something. But, mate, if I have to look at last year's performance at Old Trafford to this year's, we dominated possession, created chances, didn't put them away. Man United just hit us on the counter-attack, scored 2 goals from it. Game finished 2-2. Mate, I do think it's going to be a score draw. It'll be 1-1 or 2-2 again, and I'll take that because I do think Man United need to bounce back after yesterday's result.
If you lose to Man United, mate, that pressure on Ange is cranked up.
They got to worry about
Not
Karabakh
me.
tonight. Actually, I've seen they've been parking the bus against Karabakh with 10 men.
Is that what it is?
They've had 2 shots on goal, mate, in the first half.
Oh, Spurs.
Spurs. He's playing 8 at the back.
Yeah, don't worry about that, mate.
And Wes, you've got newly promoted Leicester coming to the Emirates. What do you think of that, mate?
I reckon if we park the bus and get a decent draw, it'd be a good result. Good result. Annoy all the rival fans. Get out there with a nice little 1-0. Be good. No, I think it'll be business as usual, mate. I think it'll be back to the good attacking, free-flowing Arsenal that we know. Because of the side we're playing. No disrespect to Leicester, but we should be beating them at home. 2-3-0.
One thing I can assure you when you play Leicester is if you go with the concept of what you've done lately, Saka will be starting because this is a bigger game than the Bolton game that he started in. So Saka's going to be starting. So you're not going to rest him against Leicester. You're not going to rest him against Bolton. So he's got quite a long season ahead of him at this rate. That's the one thing I would say.
Yes, mate. I mean, you've got Sterling in there now. Once he gets up to speed, he can do a job on the right. We have seen him taking Saka off in games. It was a bit of a weird one, the Bolton starting him, to be fair. But he only had 45 against City. Maybe that was something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, I reckon win, obviously. 2-3-0, hopefully. And hopefully some attacking football to quieten the rivals down.
I'm going higher than that. I think you stick 4 past them.
Yeah, I think 4.
I think you stick 4 past them. I still think they'll score.
You boys got more confidence in my team than I have.
Yeah, I think it'll be 4-1 Arsenal, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if it's Vardy that gets the goal.
Nice.
Here you're at Brentford.
Yeah, we're at 1-0 in our last 4 visits, 3 losses and a draw, mate. I'm not looking forward to this one at all. Do you know what? I'm going to go big. I'm going to say it's the turn in our season. And I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham. Kudos first goal.
The silence. Silence.
I think without Wissa, I think they're a different team. Completely different team.
Are.
We see that they was like chalk and cheese from City to the Spurs game.
Yeah, they definitely.
They really were. Because I feared for Spurs. When I see them, the performance they put against City, I thought they're really going to give Spurs a good game. I don't think, apart from the early goal, they didn't lay a glove on Spurs, did they really?
Yeah, I listened to the commentary on it and they said that they were shocking defensively, but they were all right going forward. So probably be about 7-5 or something there, my luck. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham.
Well, they beat us. They beat us at home this season. But again, if anyone watched the game, it didn't tell the true story because of the decisions that went their way. But you can see with them that they are capable of scoring goals and they are capable of catching you on a counter-attack. And that could be West Ham's problem. Because West Ham are going to want to try and go forward. But if you're not clinical in front of goal, they're the sort of team that will go up the other end and put one in. So I think that you're ropey at the back, and I still think you're ropey at the back. And I do think that you're not clinical in front of goal. So this is one that I think will be quite interesting. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they do you, to be honest. Because I think that you're the sort of team that play into their hands.
If we went down and only got 3 points all season and that was Palace away, I'd be an happy man. I'm only joking, Doc. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Yeah, and I will catch you all soon. And Matty, go and watch the rest of your Karabakh parking the bus.
Good team, Karabakh. Good team now. Big team.
If it carries on, you're going to charge 10
You can go bed. You can go bed. You've got nothing to watch on this evening, mate.
Emmerdale. Thursday nights is Emmerdale's for us, boys. We concentrate.
Did you play last Thursday?
Yeah, we did. I missed Emmerdale.
Thanks, gents.
See you later, boys.